All right, so this is the first Dark Volumes author interview, and we're interviewing Alisha Galvan,
Mhm.
author of the newest episode on the Dark Volumes podcast called "The Vessel." And we're going to start with the most obvious question. Alicia, is tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Alisha Galvan. I am an author. I tend to write more towards the darker genres. So thriller and horror is definitely my jam. I'm a wife and a mother of three. I've been writing for over 10 years. I did take a 5-year hiatus due to some discouragements that happened when I was trying to go the traditionally published route. And then once I started getting that passion again for writing, I decided just to go indie with it.
Yeah, any artistic endeavor is just so. There's nothing like pouring your heart and soul out there, and then people going, eh.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Well, so I had a literary agent once, and we were working together on one of my manuscripts. And she informed me that she was leaving the business and that I was still supposed to be contracted with that agency. But I never heard from them again. I emailed, called. So I was got so discouraged and it was heartbroken. And I tried to query with another manuscript and just kept getting a lot of no's and rejections. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take a step back for a little bit. And that's what I did. I kind of regret it now, especially now that self-publishing and indie publishing is so much bigger than it was, 6 years ago. But
Indie publishing is really tough too,
mhm.
because you have to do the covers, you have to do the marketing, you have to do the editing, and I can't even begin to get started on the editing. That's like insane.
Yeah,
Um,
especially with me and being a one-woman show, and I'm also an introvert, so it's kind of hard for me to market, but I'm just putting myself out there. No one's gonna know, my work's out there unless I, promote it. So
so you finally did get, or you did get this story out there.
Mhm.
This is so tell it. Can you describe this story, but no spoilers?
No
Because
spoilers. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
like spoilers either. So Vessel is a short story about two kind of non-privileged young adults who decide to go and dig up a cadaver to see if they can bring it back to life and learn the secrets of the afterlife. It does have witchy vibes and a nice little twist ending, which I always love throwing those into my stories.
growing up in the South, I have to. I love that you put a reference in there that I never thought of, and this was my favorite part of it is when you're referencing gravel road people, dirt
Mhm.
road people, and then
Yep.
like paved road people.
Yep.
Like that
Asphalt
was
emissions. Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
I never thought of that. That was one of my favorite references. I'm like, yeah, that's gravel dirt road people with gravel road ambitions. I
Yeah, that's something I do love about my writing too, is like, putting a lot of myself in there. And, I, probably growing up as a kid, I was more of the dirt road people. So
yeah. People are, they like to knock trailers, and I'm like, you know what? They can be nice.
oh yeah, they
Yeah.
can. They really
As
can.
like they can be as big as like bigger than like your inner like your city apartments and condos and stuff if you really want. Um, but that's coming from a gravel road person, I guess.
Right.
So, um, so what do you like? Like, so you have you like putting yourself into your writing.
Mhm.
What inspired you to write horror and dark fantasy? Like, what inspired you to do that genre?
Yeah, so I first fell in love with horror when I was in the third grade, reading the Goosebumps series. And then when I was in fourth grade, my brother let me watch Children of the Corn with him, the OG version. And I loved it. I fell in love with the, just the adrenaline that comes with it. And, I've had a pretty traumatizing life growing up. So a lot of the times I do think, I writing it into stories and fictionizing it and just putting myself out there, it's therapeutic. Writing is definitely therapeutic for me too. So
I feel
kind of
like
hard to write romance, with traumatic things, really. I mean, for me, I don't know.
my wife wants me to write romance, and I'm like, I got an idea for a romance novel, and I showed her what it was, and she was like, no, no monsters, no, none of that stuff.
Right.
Um, I feel like you're a blonde me, honestly, because that's I grew up reading Goosebumps, I loved Goosebumps. Always checked them out of the library and everything, which should like date me a little bit. Um, and and one of my movies I watched all the time as a kid was Children of the Corn. And yeah, so I've always been like a little horror junkie
Yes,
from
same.
like day one. And I'm like, and people are like, who hurt you? When they read some of the stuff that you write as a horror author. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
some people jump out of planes because it gives them a thrill. Some people go on roller coasters. Some people play sports. I'm like, we get the thrills from like the spooky stuff,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
um, like for me, the next question is, what is it you like about the genre?
Hmm.
Because for me, it's like, creepy villages and like cults and towns with a secret, or like things hidden in the little corners of places, like even in New York, there can be scary things because there's just so much that you don't see what's going on
Hmm.
like underneath. So like, what do
Yeah,
you like about the genre?
that
That's
is, I
like
mean,
your favorite part of it.
the adrenaline rush would definitely be it, whether it's I'm watching, a scary movie or a true crime documentary, or just that rush that it gives me. Again, in a weird way, it's kind of therapeutic. And it's probably because what I've suffered through, that it's like, I don't know, kind of seeing other people suffer something worse, I guess. It's just kind of like, huh, well, I had it hard, but I didn't have it that hard, But so that would probably be why.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of look at it the same way that people that watch drama. I'm like,
Hmm.
there's enough drama in life, so I don't really like watching drama stuff. And people, I've had friends and stuff kind of poke fun at the things I do like, or that I do like to watch. I'm like, when I play a video game or I read a book or watch a movie or a TV show, like I want to check out, you
Hmm.
know. I don't
Yeah.
want to like, there's enough drama in life. I don't want to watch it on TV. I don't want to do it in my fun time. I want to watch like uh robots turn into vampires and like kill each
Yes.
other or something. I don't know, like
Right.
just something like that. And I don't, yeah, and horror just kind of scratches an itch that I have. Like I like
Mhm.
that creepiness vibe, and like I haven't got a lot of times that I get chilled at something or whatever.
I know. I was telling my
Um,
daughter this the other day. I was like, I watched a movie, and my husband doesn't like horror. So if I'm watching a horror movie, I'm usually by myself watching it in the dark.
that's
Um,
me and my wife. Yeah,
yeah, and
my
I
wife
feel like
and I.
I'm so immune to it now that like, even with the jump scares, like I physically don't jump anymore. And my heart just kind of goes little,
Yeah.
little
Well,
populations.
I still get like I know what's coming. I don't
Yeah.
want to see this. But there's not a lot of things. Yeah, it's kind of like comedy. Like I don't have to laugh out loud at something to find something funny. But if
Hmm.
I do laugh out loud, then like that really,
It's really
really got
funny.
me. It's kind of like with horror. If something really chills me or really creeps me out, um, then I know it did a good job, which leads into who are some of the authors that inspire you? Because one of the authors that does that for me is Laird Barron.
Hmm.
Um,
So I
just
have
seeing the names of one of his books is like one of the most horrifying things ever to me. So it's like, yeah, who are some of your authors that
instant
you're
auto
like,
buy.
yeah,
So first it would definitely probably be Stephen King. I've been reading him probably since way too young of an age. I do like how detailed he can get, and just how his mind really sees everything. Another one would be Karen Slaughter. She gets really gritty, and she is not afraid to beat up some of her main characters. Gillian Flynn would be another one. She's also a fellow Kansas Citian too. I do like her like melancholy kind of feels throughout her books. And then Nick Cutter. Yeah, just the way he just writes it. Just I mean, I'm like I'm not even claustrophobic, but when I read The Deep, like I felt claustrophobia. Like he just grips you in a way that's like, oh wow. So with my stories, I tend to like to get inspiration from these authors and mash up and see what I can create with my own ideas.
I could feel a little Stephen Kingish off of the vessel. The only
Hmm.
thing it was missing was psychics.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta write something with like psychic powers.
Right. Right. He does do
If
that
you're
a
a big
lot.
Stephen King person. Um, so are you gonna watch The Boogeyman?
Probably. I don't know. I just right now, just because, I'm, a mom in the day and then I write at night, I don't have a lot of free time to really
Yeah.
just sit down and watch a lot of media, unfortunately. Maybe I'll get there once I'm finished with, this product I'm working on right now, but
That's why you gotta be night people. Or why
Yeah,
do you
I
have to be
am.
night
I'm a
people?
night
Like,
owl.
it's like, how do you stay up so late? That's the only time I can watch the stuff that I want to watch
Yep.
because nobody else wants to.
Yep.
Um, so, so let me see. Stephen King. What's your favorite Stephen King book then?
There's a few of them. I really loved Doctor Sleep. I read the Institute recently. That one was really good. Also with like the psychic mind things. So yeah, those ones would probably be my favorite of his right now. Bag of Bones, that one's really good. It's a different take on a ghost story. I liked that one.
How about Miss Slaughter? What are some
I
of the
think
like?
for Karen Slaughter,
Yeah.
so The Good Daughter. Wow. I mean, she's a slow build, but then like I mean, I had to have like a palate cleanser book after that, like just a light, fluffy book after I read that one because some of those scenes I was like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's
then what was the other one? False Witnesses was really good as well. Another recent one I read of hers.
that's it's kind of like whenever I read anything by Laird Barron, I have to like go. I don't know. I'm gonna go watch My Little Pony or something. I don't know. I need something like colorful marshmallow.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Give me something light and fluffy after that because
um,
it's sticking with me.
who so I guess the horror has a lot of subgenres.
Hmm.
Um, Supernatural. I guess what's it called? Um, Urban horror or urban paranormal is becoming popular. Um, slasher,
Hmm.
stuff like that. Slasher is definitely one that I've never been big on. Most of the people that die in slashers kind of deserved it.
Yeah.
Um, what's your favorite what subgenres do you like? Like what sort of like if like I said, you have supernatural, you have slasher, you have a southern gothic, you have um southwest gothic, you have cosmic horror, which is my personal favorite. You
Hmm.
have um even dark fantasy, like fantasy horror. What sort of
Hmm.
subgenre do you like? And would you ever think you'd write in a genre like that? Because Vessel definitely was, like I guess supernatural.
Hmm. Yeah.
So like the
Yeah.
supernatural subgenre.
So I do think I like the supernatural stuff myself. Slashers. So the next project I have is kind of a slasher-ish, but like you said, they all deserved it. And then I do have some ideas kind of trickling around in my brain for like maybe like a sci-fi-ish horror.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I'm pretty
So
excited
I
about
forgot
this.
about
And it's
sci-fi
going to be a
horror.
series. Right now, I think I'm outlining like 3 books so far in it. So
Okay.
we'll see when I can get to that one.
Yeah, not to say that I don't like read or watch or like slasher horror. It's of the genres. I'm like, it's the one that I go into going, yeah, most of the people deserve this. Like, I don't find it so much scary.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but
I'm a big fan too of like found footage. I think those
I
ones
am
can,
too.
if done correctly, it's those are really good. But
I've watched so much trashy found footage to find like decent ones.
yeah.
And I'm like, I like the found footage horror because there's something about, again, the other thing with slashers is that a lot of the times, unless there's something supernaturally about them,
Hmm.
slashers are like real people, and there's plenty of horrifying things done every day.
Hmm.
Um, like, with like serial killers and stuff that are out there. Um, but slashers are still, real people. And when you suspend disbelief and you go into a story, there's plenty of things that like characters can do to take care of them. They are people, they do bleed, they do die.
Hmm.
Um, it's the things that you can't do anything about
Yeah.
that really get me, which is why like ghosts or hauntings or possessions or demons or the things that or like I said, cosmic horror, um, things that are beyond our understanding. Or in a lot of the found footage, it's like you see these people, and a lot of times, yeah, they make stupid decisions.
Hmm.
Um, but the good ones are when they actually make, smart decisions, and that doesn't help either.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that I love about found footage.
Hmm.
Because it draws you in to make it feel kind of real, but if done well, then yeah, it kind of gives like that feeling that there's nothing they could have done. Like they were just screwed from the get-go.
Yep.
Um, and so you said you have some upcoming stuff.
I do.
So Vessel is a short story. Has it been what do you have coming after this then? You said you're working on a trilogy. So Vessel is a short story,
So
but you have like
Vessel is
books.
one of the short stories in my collection that is available right now.
Okay.
You can find it on Amazon, and there's 20 short stories in here, ranging from flash fiction to longer fiction to some in between. It covers a lot of different subgenres, from vampires to dystopian to there's ghost stories in here. I kind of cover a lot.
And
And then
that book is for the listeners on the podcast, A Path Through the Forest by Alisha Galvan.
and then Go
And then
ahead.
yeah, what do you got coming up?
So then right now I am finishing up editing a manuscript called Crown of Thistle. My plan is to publish it in late September. It is a very, very dark psychological thriller that is horror adjacent. So if
Okay.
you're someone who needs trigger warnings, I will include a trigger warning page. Heed those trigger warnings. I'm not kidding when I say it's dark.
I like that title. So
Yeah,
um,
it ties into the story. So there's a
under the trigger warning thing, you are the first story on the Dark Volumes that I have to put for adults on there.
yeah.
That I have to put the content warning on. I thought it was funny. I was like, it's nothing outrageous,
Yeah.
but I'm like, it is something I'm going to have to put the first content warning on, because all the stuff I've read so far is, or narrated so far has been, like Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe and, a bunch of old dead guys. Not
Yeah.
a whole lot of stuff in there that's a little risque, but, so the name of that book again was A Bitter Crown of Thistle.
Yeah, Crown of Thistle.
Bitter Crown of Thistle by Alisha Galvan, not out yet. So we got a little bit of a preview here.
Yes.
Very dark psychological horror. Is there anything you can tell us about it that won't give it away that you would care to share?
Yeah. So the story follows a man named Raymond, and he falls in love with this girl, and he builds a suite in his basement, and he is convinced that he he can kidnap her and take her to the suite and pretty much convince her to fall in love with him. And
Oh,
Raymond's
so
lived a really, really hard life. So he's been, mother who didn't really care or love him, teased a lot going through school and high school and stuff. So he's always been the outcast. He's always been a watcher. And he finally, for something, he's doing something brave in his life. And, yeah. And all the while Carolyn is missing, she is married. So her husband is trying to look for her. The authorities are investigating her husband, Nathan. And again, it's got a nice little twisty ending.
so it's 50 Shades of Blood.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Or it's 50 Shades of Gray if the guy looked like me instead of like a super handsome person. Well, yeah, I'm going to have to put that one on my watch list then, because I do love a good psychological thriller that is horror adjacent for sure. Is there any stories you can compare it to give people like an idea? Like if you like this, then you'll like a bitter Crown of Thistle.
Think The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum vibes.
Oh, I already have a bad feeling about this, which is good. I have a bad feeling in a good way.
It's exciting. Yeah. And I also tend to write too, especially with my novels, happy yet sad endings. So
That's
good,
yeah. The
good and
Vessel
bad.
kind of felt that way.
Mhm.
It's again for anyone who may be listening to this before the story. This it did have like this everyday feel to it. Like you could feel sometimes when you're reading something, you can kind of, especially if it's like you said, dirt road, gravel road people, like you can kind of feel the weight of that, that poverty or that upbringing. I grew up in the South, and it was sometimes times were good, sometimes times were hard. I have that's kind of the background I come from, and you can when you wrote, you could just feel how these people lived. It's just kind of, like this is their lot,
Mhm.
and that didn't really play it. It was, I feel like you did a great job of wrapping that around the story because it was the setting, but it wasn't like a pity me kind of story. It was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's hard to explain. You'll have to for someone who speaks for a living, I'm not wording real good, so you'll have to go listen to the story.
I'm not a very good public speaker, so writing I can do it through writing
That's your
way better than,
specialty. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I'm what they call a voice for radio. So the fact that I have a YouTube channel or a face for radio. So the fact that I have a YouTube channel is weird in itself, but um, I think it's great that people get to see the faces behind these stories because reading it was one thing. I enjoyed reading it. But getting to put a face to the author and find out background, it adds so much to it, kind of
Yeah,
like
more depth. Absolutely.
a lot of people say to write what you know, and then some people say be daring and just do your research and write. And for you, it sounds like you're writing from where you come from, which is Midwest.
Hmm.
And then Stephen King, he writes in King country, I guess they call it.
Yeah.
It's up in Maine and all the clouds and
Yes.
that seashore and everything. And then Ramsey Campbell, writes in Campbell country. He writes in like his area and write what you know. For anyone who's wanting to write, like what sort of the fence do you kind of fall on there? Are you a write what you know, write about your, like, should I stick to the high deserts of the West, of the West Coast? Or is it, like just do your research and write what you love? Or are they even mutually exclusive at all?
For me, it's both, really. I mean, because there's only I've never met a vampire, so it's just like, yeah, I'm still going to put myself into this story a bit and things that I've survived or lived through or things I've heard from other people, yes, but then it's also too, I got to do a little bit of research or, see what other people have done with the genre and add my twist to it, So,
Okay.
so I'm definitely a little bit of both for
All
sure.
right.
I mean, put myself in there, but I also, do a lot of research as well. If the FBI were to ever look at my search engine, they'd be like, whoa, what is this girl into?
I think that's all authors,
Yeah.
like especially horror and mystery.
Mhm.
Um, that's everyone, including the what's one of the memes I found that I loved, which was like, oh yeah, look at their search history. There's how to hide a body, how to dispose of a body, how to do this, how to do that, and they're like, oh no, wait, they're just an author.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Well, it looks like we're getting ready to wrap up here on our interview. Our very first one ever for the Dark Volume. So I hope the listeners enjoyed. I hope the viewers that are watching this enjoy. And I hope you enjoyed our little conversation.
I did. It's an honor to be the first one too. So
so the story again is Vessel by Alisha Galvan. It is a part of her collection. If you want to show that book one more time here at the end, looks like you have it on hand.
I do. Always have it on hand.
Path Through the Forest by Alisha Galvan. I like that cover too.
Thank you.
And we got a little preview of her upcoming book. Say the title one more time.
Yeah, it's called Bitter Crown of Thistle.
Bitter Crown of Thistle. I keep wanting to say A Bitter Crown of Thistle.
Yeah.
Bitter Crown of Thistle by Alisha Galvan. Put it on your watch list because it sounds great. And go enjoy her short story on the Dark Volumes if you haven't already. Make sure to like, share, as we say on the Dark Volumes, Fear loves company, or Madness loves company. Spread the madness.
Yes.
And we will hopefully talk to you again, Alisha, when your other books come out. Maybe we'll set up something else there.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely be interested in that.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And we will see you all or hear you all on the Dark Volumes. Thank you for listening to the Dark Volumes podcast. Please spread the word. Madness does love company, and we'll talk again soon.